Hey YouTube friends, welcome back here to a new series on my channel. If you didn't guess already, I'm building Maverick. Maverick is a Intamin Blitz coaster from Cedar Point in Ohio, and it is up there as one of my favorite coasters, if not my favorite coaster. It's quite hard to choose, but this coaster is really great. I'll talk more about why it's my favorite later on. But yeah, I just really wanted to build it. I actually wrote on my community page on YouTube, what would you guys like to see? A few of you said some more recreations, and it really kind of sparked something in my brain to want to do this. One of you said build Maverick, and I actually had mentioned this before when I was building my Raptor recreation, which is also from Cedar Point. If you've not seen that, there is a playlist on my channel where you can watch me build that whole coaster in full detail, top to bottom. It was a really great project. It took me a really long time. And in that project, I actually say I wanted to build Maverick, but I had problems with the layout. And so that's why I ended up doing something else. And so I've always had it in the back of my head that I wanted to build Maverick because I do love this coaster a lot. So this is the time now to get in there with this project and actually do it. I know I've got quite a few projects going on right now on YouTube, but let's just keep it, let's put variety out there. There's lots of things for you to watch. I've got my water park, I've got my B&M project, and then I've also got now this Maverick project. The first half of the layout was actually really okay to build. Wasn't too difficult. I used the track edit mod just a little bit, just to kind of tweak the twisted horseshoe roll, which is the double inversion element near the end of the first section of the ride before the launch. And the second part of the layout I had a little bit of trouble with, just because of the way the ride is done in real life and the way Parkitect works. I did actually make a couple errors, like the curve out of the launch here, it actually does incline a little bit, and that's something I fixed later on. Right now in this clip I'm showing you, it's actually a flat turn. So things will change, and if you're used to me building recreations, you know that these things, I build everything basically twice, because I do it once and then I check a photo and then I realize I did something wrong, delete that bit, redo that bit, and that's kind of the process with these things. I get really kind of nitpicky with recreations, and I really want them to be as perfect as I can do it. And if I was to do this in Planet Coaster, I think it would kind of terrify me a little bit, because I feel like with that game, you have no excuse and no reason to get it wrong, or to get it right even. You have the tools that make you able to actually make a recreation 100% one-to-one perfect. So that would terrify me a little bit, because I know that people out there do know these rides very well, and they do notice mistakes when building them. I've only been to Cedar Point once in my life. I went there for 2.5 days. I rode Maverick twice. It had a very long queue, and I can't remember everything from that trip. I had a great time at Cedar Point. I love this coaster. It was actually down on one of the days that I was there, so I didn't get to ride it one day, but that's why I didn't ride it as much as I wanted to. But I can't remember every detail from this ride, so there's obviously going to be things in this recreation that are going to be slightly off, slightly different. But I do try and get it as accurate as possible. A massive help is Google Earth. You can actually walk around Cedar Point on Google Earth, so that's a huge help. But obviously, with also the limitations of the game, I had to tweak a couple of things here and there. But I try and make it as accurate as possible. And that's why I love this game, I think, because I have to really challenge myself with how to make things work and look realistic, and try and find the right pieces, and trying to find a way around things. And there is room for change in this game with how this game is being isometric, etc. Anyway, you get the point. Right now I've just basically made a separate scenario map. I measured out the coaster, how big it was, made it a couple tiles bigger each side, and placed it down in a map, so I haven't got too much space. When I made a Raptor, I had a lot of space, and I got carried away, and I ended up building pretty much half of the midway from Cedar Point. That's something I didn't want to do too much in this series, but I wanted to include some of the surrounding areas of Maverick. So not just the ride, it will have kind of the plaza area before it, and a couple of little restaurants, etc. If you saw from the screens at the beginning of this video. So Maverick, really love it. Why it's one of my favorite coasters is because it has everything I like in a coaster in one. So I love launch coasters, but I also love a good drop on a coaster. And the speed up the lift hill, it sends you right over the edge, and on the back row you really get thrown over the drop, so I really enjoyed that. I love twists and turns. There's lots of like quick, sharp transitions, so that was great. Some near miss elements with the scenery. There was injector airtime, which I love airtime. And then you go into this crazy launch, and I love a launch coaster, so that was great. And then the second half of the ride is just so whippy and so fast. I think this coaster just had everything I love about roller coasters in one ride, and you can't really find that in many places around the world. I've ridden quite a lot of coasters. I'm nearly at 300, but this was really one of my favorites, and it still remains to be. I've ridden some great coasters since I've ridden this, like Hyperion, which question my, and I think I'm like, is Hyperion better than Maverick? Probably it is. I'm not sure, but because it's been a while now since I've ridden Maverick, and I don't have the opportunity to ride it as often as I would like to, I can't really remember how good it was. I just know that I loved it, so that's why I'm doing this project. I can't wait for you to see the end result and the process of me building it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it as well. Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this project. Comment down below if you've ridden Maverick, if Maverick's your favorite coaster. If it's not your favorite coaster, what is your favorite coaster? And what's your favorite ride at Cedar Point? Mine is a toss-up between Maverick and Top Thrill Dragster, although I have not ridden Steel of Vengeance, so I can imagine that would be a great coaster as well, and I know it's a favorite of many people out there. But yeah, subscribe, like, follow me on this project, and I'll see you all next time for another episode here of Maverick from Cedar Point. Ciao, stay safe, bye.